Today we are going to explain the story of from Season 3, Episode 5. We've already explained all the previous episodes. At the start of the episode, we see that Boyd and Ellis bring Randall, who was injured and lying outside, back into the building. Randall had severe injuries on his face. At that moment, Moriel arrives and begins treating him, but Randall is in immense pain. Because of this, he pushes Moriel away. Boyd tries his best to calm Randall down, but Randall keeps accusing him, saying, "This is all your fault. You left me out there to die." However, Boyd somehow manages to pacify him. The next morning, Boyd is standing outside when Kenny, Christy, and Jade return. They had gone into the forest to gather food supplies. Christy is injured, and Moriel immediately begins tending to her. However, since these two weren't around the previous night, they are unaware of the ambulance that suddenly appeared. Boyd explains that Tabitha has returned, and that she came in the ambulance. Hearing this, Jade runs off. Meanwhile, we see that Henry wants to change his clothes, so Donna takes him to an upstairs room with a wardrobe. She offers to guide him there. Victor is also shown with Sarah. He is still unaware that his father has arrived in the town. Victor mentions that Jasper had gone into the tunnels, and if they don't have enough supplies, they won't be able to follow. So, Victor decides to enter the house where Henry is, to gather supplies with Sarah following him. They encounter Donna, who reveals that a girl named Nikki has died. This revelation frightens Sarah, and she steps outside. Victor attempts to go to a room to fetch his belongings, but Donna stops him, saying she has something important to tell him. She reveals that Tabitha has returned and brought Henry, Victor's father, with her. Donna urges Victor to meet his father, but he is terrified and refuses. Instead, he flees the house. Sarah confronts Victor, asking, "What's going on with you?" Victor says, "My father has arrived here. We'll talk another day. For now, you should leave." The scene shifts to Tabitha sitting with Julie and Ethan. Jim is also there, and they ask her, "How did you feel when you got out of this place?" Tabitha replies, "I was terrified. My eyes opened in a hospital. Honestly, I can't explain how I ended up in that hospital." Jim comforts her. At this moment, Jade arrives. He questions her. "Boyd told me that you went inside a tree and managed to get out of this place. Tell me how you did it and how you came back, because we all want to leave. Show me that magical tree so we can escape." Jim intervenes, saying, "Back off a bit. Tabitha isn't going anywhere, she's staying here." Jade presses further, saying, "There was a bottle hanging on that tree, as Boyd described. That bottle must be important. Take me to that tree so we can figure this out." However, Tabitha announces, "There's going to be a town meeting, and I'll be attending it." "Meetings never bring solutions," says Jade. "If we want to get out, we need to take action ourselves." Jim assures Jade, "I'll show you the tree, but not now. You need to leave because Tabitha needs some rest." Meanwhile, Randall is slowly recovering. Boyd and Kenny are seen talking nearby. Kenny suggests, "There's more food supply out there, but we need to send another team to retrieve it." He also asks Boyd, "They killed everyone, but they spared him. I don't understand." Boyd responds, "They wanted to send us a warning. If we think we're safe during the day, Randall's survival is a reminder that we're not. It's meant to instill fear in us that the night is never safe. But we can't live in fear like this, nor can we pretend everything is fine. We have to take action." Kenny and Boyd arrive, wanting to check on Randall, but Moriel stops Boyd, saying, "Please don't go near him right now. Randall won't like it if you approach him. Just find something to do outside and stay there for now." Boyd and Kenny step outside as requested. Meanwhile, Donna brings Henry to Victor's room. She explains that this is where Victor used to stay. Henry, being in his son's room, feels a bit comforted and remarks, "This room is a little different from my son's room back home." I always lived with the hope that one day my wife Miranda, my son Victor, and his sister Elias would return to me. But that never happened. It was the hardest part of my life, something I couldn't bear. As the years went by, I realized they were gone and I began to forget them. My son must have been here, all alone without his family. What kind of family abandons their children? Perhaps that's why he doesn't want to talk to me now. She responds, give him some time, he will talk to you. Just then Fatima arrives and informs them that everyone is waiting for the meeting. Henry asks, what's the meeting about? She replies, since Tabitha has returned, everyone wants to know how she came back. People have the right to know. The meeting begins, and Boyd tries to calm the crowd, saying, Tabitha will be here soon, and you can ask any questions you have. Tabitha arrives, and Dale immediately asks her, how did you come back? If there's a way out, why did you come back instead of escaping for good? Tabitha shares everything that happened to her, telling the truth. However, the crowd becomes restless. Anne asks her, if you were able to leave this place, why didn't you tell the authorities? Tabitha says that she tried everything, but people began to think she was crazy, including Henry. He admits that, at first, he also thought she was insane, and didn't believe her, but later, he came to trust her. The others then argue that if Henry could trust her, the police might have too, and she could have helped them, but she didn't. Now that she's back, the police officer Acosta tries to defend her. Saying Tabitha didn't know about this place, Fatima starts accusing Acosta, saying, you shouldn't talk, you killed a girl. Boyd defends Acosta, explaining it was a mistake, but Dale cuts in, saying that everything happening here seems to be a mistake. He accuses everyone of finding a way out but still not leaving, and of stopping others from leaving. This escalates the argument, and the crowd starts blaming Tabitha, forcing her to leave. Boyd tries to calm everyone, but Dale declares that he's done staying here. He grabs his bag and leaves. Julia, who was not at the meeting, goes to Colony's house and steals some drugs. Elgin finds her there, and the two do drugs together. Elgin tells Julie about seeing a spirit. The spirit asks him to help her. Meanwhile, Victor is sitting alone in the cold, and Sarah sits beside him, trying to convince him to leave, as it's freezing there. However, Victor ignores her. Sarah calms Victor down, and tells him not to overthink. She assures him that his father will be proud of him if he meets him. Victor responded, saying he hadn't done anything remarkable, and admitting he was a little scared. Sarah assures him that he is not the only one who is scared, maybe his father is too. He may be thinking that he is not a good father. This helps Victor feel a little more relaxed. Meanwhile, we see Jade near Ethan. Ethan asks Jade why he didn't attend the meeting. At this point, Tabitha and Jim arrive. Tabitha is visibly upset, frustrated that no one believes her. Jade tells her that, even if others don't believe her, he does. He asks her to take him to the tree. Tabitha agrees, but Jim opposes. Tabitha explains to Jim that she won't go inside the tree, she will stay at a distance, and just show Jade where it is. Jim agrees. Tabitha reassures Ethan, telling him to stay with his father, and promises to return soon. We then see Boyd, who is not talking to Alice, which prompts Ellis to ask why his father is ignoring him. Boyd confronts him, saying that Fatima didn't believe a word Tabitha said and instead fueled the crowd's anger. Ellis defends Fatima, explaining that she's pregnant and a bit upset, which is why she was asking questions. Boyd, however, says he didn't like her behavior at all and walks away. We see Julie with Elgin in a basement. Elgin shares that whenever he couldn't sleep, he used to come to this basement. It is filled with old things, some dating back to the 1990s. The two begin exploring the items there. Julie is shown wearing an old coat and tying her hair with an old rubber band. Elgin, on the other hand, puts on a hat. They come across a camera and start taking pictures of each other. Meanwhile, we see Acosta approaching Boyd. She thanks him for supporting her during the meeting, but Boyd responds sternly, saying, "Don't think I've forgiven you. You did something terrible, you killed a girl." This makes Acosta uncomfortable, and she leaves. Fatima is seen hiding in a secluded place, where she starts eating spoiled vegetables. However, Ellis notices her and approaches her, asking what she's doing there. Fatima replies, "You'll never understand what I'm going through." Ellis insists on knowing what's wrong, and she finally confesses, "I think something is wrong with our baby." Ellis reassures her. We see Ethan observing Henry, who is standing and staring at a signboard that says motel. Henry wonders aloud, "Where is the motel? I still don't see it." Ethan says, "You're Victor's father, come with me, I'll show you our animals." Henry follows him. At the same time, Victor and Sarah appear, and Victor notices his father, Henry. The two move toward each other and share a heartfelt embrace, letting go of their past grievances. Boyd is in Randall's bus, missing him deeply. A girl follows Boyd into the bus and consoles him, saying, "Don't blame yourself for what happened to Randall last night, you did the right thing by trying to save others. Whether someone stands by you or not, I will always be with you." Meanwhile, we see Tabitha near a tree, where Jade has also arrived. The tree with the bottles hanging from it catches attention. As Tabitha is taking down the bottles, she finds slips of paper with numbers written on them. Confused, she starts wondering, saying she doesn't understand anything. Jade responds, "No, it can't be meaningless, these numbers must signify something, maybe a date." He sits down nearby and begins drinking. Jade then shares, "I went into the tunnel and there I saw your kids. I also saw a drawing that matched exactly with what was there. I even saw some children lying on the rocks, but I couldn't make sense of it. I believe everything has a meaning, even the bottles hanging on the tree." At that moment, Dale arrives. He says, "So this is the tree that leads somewhere, now I know about it. What were you both doing here?" Jade replies, "You shouldn't go inside this tree, it's not safe." But Dale counters, "We need to do something to get out of here." Determined, Dale starts entering the tree, saying, "I will definitely find a way, and later you'll all thank me." With that, he goes inside the tree. Meanwhile, a large crowd begins gathering in another area, drawn by the sound of someone screaming. The noise is coming from the swimming pool. Boyd arrives at the scene and looks carefully to identify the person. It turns out to be Dale, who is stuck in the swimming pool wall, as though someone has fixed him there. Dale is in immense pain, struggling to free himself. Boyd quickly pulls out his gun to shoot Dale and end his suffering, but before he can fire, Dale succumbs and dies. Everyone is terrified. Boyd then says, "I told all of you before not to go inside that tree. I've been there, and there's no way out. Look at what happened to Dale. If anyone else wants to go outside, feel free to enter that tree, but don't say I didn't warn you." Donna and the others present are visibly shaken by his words. Everyone is scared after seeing Dale's condition, and with that, this episode comes to an end. We'll see you next time with the next episode. Don't forget to subscribe our channel and share your thoughts about the series.